Hello and welcome to today's video. We are going to pot up this particular set of ICPU orchids that we just received from Ken over at the Orchid Supply Store. Additionally, we are going to use Orchid Supply materials. So I do have, let me move this out of the way so I don't muss them up, but I do have some moss and some small and medium bark mixture in here. I've sprayed it to kind of dampen it a little bit. And then in this is the rest of what I have left of bark perlite. So there's fir bark, Orchiata bark, large, medium, small, you name it, it's in here. I just had to get enough together for the, I believe it's 7 orchids that we received. I will link that video below if you didn't get to see what they look like when they arrived, because they have been cleaned up already. I've already cut most of the roots I'm going to cut. I've got my little waste bucket here on the side. I've got some bamboo skewers and then some really cute little clips. Again, you can get from the Orchid Supply Store. Go to orchidsupplystore.com, use coupon code TRISH at checkout. Spring's around the corner. Go make your order. Multiple use, by the way, and free shipping. Now, I do have them in the CalMag seaweed soak from yesterday. It is now Sunday because I was just too lazy to do it yesterday, but they did dry out last night. So I just stuck them in here to kind of wet the roots, easier to work with. And the one I want to work with first is this one right here, because as I was cleaning it up, let me take the tag off and I'm going to show you this one. So I was cleaning it off and cleaning off sheaths because Ken did warn about mealybugs. I wanted to make sure I didn't leave any unnecessary hidey holes for them. And so far, I've had them for almost a week now, and all the mealybugs are gone. I have not seen any return. I do check them every day. I will still keep them separated from the rest of the collection until I'm 100% sure. But I'll show you what I found. Oh, and this is the BC Young Tucking Star number 2. It says it's a pink nodosa type. I ended up cutting off the back end of it. All those canes were just dry and just real shrivelly. So I was like, well, cut it off. Did seal it with some cinnamon. These are the roots that we are left with. Not very many, but I believe it's enough to get it going until, look what I found. Do you see the new growth right there by my finger? So we have a new growth on this one. What I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it in a very small pot, almost like a seedling pot. I think this is a 3-inch, maybe a 2-inch. For those of you who've been here for a minute, know I am horrible when it comes to pot sizes, but you get it. It's a little seedling cup or 2-inch, 3-inch cup. What I did forget was my mycorrhizal fungi, so I'll be right back. And I'm going to apologize if I start sounding out of breath. Whatever that cold thing was or whatever it is, it's still in my chest. It hasn't loosened up yet, so talking can tire me out, which is kind of funny, but that is the way of life. So I am going to put just a little bit of bark, spray the bark, because I don't want to run water through this again until probably a day or so. Let those roots completely dry out, but just sprinkle a little bit of mycorrhizal fungi in the bottom. And I'm going to kind of put it kind of low in the pot, kind of like that, to kind of help create humidity and maybe encourage more root growth. That's the plan. And I probably should do a little bit of moss up underneath there as well to encourage some root growth. So let's just put just a wee bit. I know it looks like a lot, but it's really just covering the bottom there. And I will make sure some of those roots are actually touching the moss. And because of her direction of growth, she is going to go in there kind of sideways and kind of sit on the side like so. And I do have bamboo skewers that I'll probably support her in there, but we'll have to wait and see. Let me know, have you guys gone to Orchid Supply Store and gotten anything for your upcoming spring season? I know some of you are going into winter, and I don't envy you. I am excited that we are going into spring, although the snow this past week doesn't show spring. Next week will be the spring equinox. I'm excited. Let's see, she might actually just sit in there without me having to brace her in. Put a little bit of bark on top right there. It's just a little more. And I'm not putting any fertilizer or anything like that in here as of yet because they were soaking in that CalMag on and off all week. So I don't want to overdo it with fertilizer as well. There she is. I wonder if I just put the tag right next to her that will keep her from leaning out. Ah, there we go. So there is one. That's our nodosa pink type nodosa. And I'll probably do this in 2 videos. I'll do the phals in a separate video because I feel like they're going to need a lot more attention. Then let's do the other Cattleya here, which once I cleaned her all off, and I'll show you the tag here in a sec as well. And I did kind of, excuse me, pre-choose the pots just so we're not sitting here trying to decide what size pot to put her in. But this one is the RLC Mori Akasuka Kira. Again, if you're new here, you're going to find I'm horrible with pronouncing names, okay? I'm horrible with it. So I apologize ahead of time if that is something that kind of bothers you, but I'm terrible with it. Now this one, once I removed all of the sheaths, she does look as though, if you can see it, she looks like she may try to have another nice new growth here, but this is the latest growth, and there were some root nubbins that had gotten fairly dry. Just went ahead and cut those off because she does have these sad little things down here at the bottom. Let me just feel these real quick. Make sure. Okay, so that one is no good. We'll go ahead and cut that little one off. And then what about this one? That one's kind of soured as well. But we do have a couple that are still kind of firm. Look like they're going to try to branch right there. Do you see right here? Look like we have a couple of little branches trying. So I figure I'll put that one in here, like so. And I'm going to try just to put moss by the new growth because of its climbing rhizome, as you can see. Starts here, went here, now it's climbing. Because of that climbing rhizome, I feel as though if I put moss on the cane itself, it might rot it out. So I don't want that. So I'll put mainly bark and then just try to put a little bit of moss right next to that new growth. Again, just to kind of help encourage some root growth to develop from there. And I am double checking for any kind of mealies, which, like I said, so far I have not found any more after the initial wipe down. Ken had actually done a fairly good job because I didn't really find that many. And because she is a climber, again, I'm gonna kind of put her here. And I think I cut some of her back section off as well. And this one will definitely be getting staked. So before I even go too far, let me just put my stake in. There we go. And I'm just going to use one of the little ties that we just got. And maybe we'll tie them all kind of together so that everybody feels a little secure and it's not going to go everywhere. Let's just do that. Twisty twist. There we go. And then once we get the bark in there, it'll be hopefully a little more secure. So I'm mainly just putting bark in the back section of the Cattleya where I cut part of her rhizome so that that section dries out fairly quickly. But right here where that new growth is, we're just going to take a little bit of moss, about that much, and we're just going to tuck it right underneath it. Keep it away from the sides so it doesn't grow algae, because that is unsightly. And then we will just cover everything with bark. Now all of these are pretty much salvageable. There is one of the phals I'm a little concerned with. Not overly concerned, but she is questionable. So we'll just have to wait and see. And again, just filling it up. And I know she looks a little buried because she is, but I want that new growth to go ahead and start developing us some beautiful roots. And there is something right here that it does not belong in there. There we go. All right, and then let's put her tag in. And I'll put the dates on them later. Then we have 2 phals in here. So this one here is, there we go. So even after all of the soaking that I've done, this bark is still insisting on staying on here. So we're gonna leave it on there. But this one is gonna go in this little slotted pot. And I believe this is a 4-inch. Again, I could be totally wrong. Yes, this is the one I chose for that one. And we're just going to spray a little here. And some of these are being reused from the ones that we received around December timeframe. All of those ICPUs are gone. And I am going to take the bulk of the blame on that because I did not take care of them and address them like I am with these right when I got them. I kind of put it off, and putting it off, I believe that caused them to suffer a little bit. And they just never bounced back. Never bounced back. So they all are lost. But I guess I can't save them all, much as I want to try. And as I've stated in a video before, eventually, once all of these ladies kind of recover and I feel like they're healthy and everything is going to go well, I am planning to do a giveaway for the ICPU orchids. So if that's something that you would be interested in, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and this way you will know when that happens. I do have one group of dendrobium keikis that have been spoken for. And for those of you who initially requested a piece of the keiki, if you are still interested, now that it's going to be getting warmer here in the next few weeks and I can ship them out, go ahead and leave that in this comment section as well so I can double check my list I already have. And in the event that someone doesn't respond again and you have not responded to the initial video and want a piece of a dendrobium keiki, let me know in the comments. Matter of fact, let's see, I'll just show you this one right here. So it is, so here's just a little sampling of them, but it is this one right here that is going to be given away. And there is no kind of a contest or anything like that. It's just put your name, and if you put your name and you have requested it in the previous video, let me know, like I said, again, so I can just compare it to the list I already have, because I feel like I might have missed someone and I don't want to miss out on anyone who was first, you know? And then this one, oh, I didn't tell you about this Phalaenopsis. She didn't have that many roots to cut off, and I mean, she's fine, other than she's got, you know, 1/2 of her missing. I'm leaving the spikes on there, like I said in the unboxing video, for them to absorb the nutrients from that. Now there is, so I usually want to try to get all of this sheathing off, but I got it off as much as I possibly could without breaking into any tissue. But just double check for any mealies in the corners, and always look down into your leaf edges as well, because they do like to hide in there. I think this one is nice and clean, and all I did is I took some rubbing alcohol, put it on a paper towel. I thought I might saw one. Put it on a paper towel, and I just wiped the top and the bottom leaves. Now when I wipe phal underside, I don't scrub back and forth. I start at the base and I try to do one even sweep, just to keep from, you know, damaging the stomata. Now initially I had thought about putting it in this pot, and it's just because of the way the roots are, and this bark is also not wanting to come off. I just want to double check it before we actually commit. Yep, I think she'll be fine in that one. And these are really cool. They have that nice cone at the bottom. Again, you can get these at orchidsupply.store.com. Coupon code TRISH at the checkout. And then just like before, we'll just spritz and add our mycorrhizal fungi. Anybody else started using this stuff? I know a lot of people have asked me about it, and I can honestly tell you I have actually seen a difference in my girls since using this. And I've been using it for about a year, and one package, I'll take a picture and post it, but one package generally should last you, depending on how many repots you do, of course, about a year. because I recently just purchased another package, and I also put it in my house plants. I've started putting it in all my orchid repots. Time will tell. And then another thing I did is I had extra CalMag and seaweed mix. So what I did is all my houseplants, because it was houseplant watering day, so all of those, actually, that's what I watered them with, was seaweed and CalMag. Figure if it's good for the orchids, it's got to be good for them, right? Especially those Hoyas that I just repotted, which I'll be doing an update in the next few weeks on those. There's one that's doing something, and I'm trying to see if the other one that I was hoping would do something will start. And then we'll do a little update on those. So there's that one. There, let me make sure that that is not by that. So what I did is I moved the piece of pumice that was going to be sitting right next to the base of the orchid, kind of just off to the side, because I don't want something that's moisture retentive right by the base to cause any rotting. But I do want a little bit more bark in that spot. Here we are. So this is the first set that we are doing, and then I will do a separate video on the big phals, because those all kind of, I don't know, they all kind of need extra attention, and I didn't want this video to be too long, but I think leaving the tag on the Nodosa Pink type, I think is going to work in keeping her steady and not falling over. And then I also have a couple of little decorative pots just to kind of set them in and hold them all nice and steady. And then that can also lean up against the pot. This is an unglazed terracotta pot. I mean a glazed terracotta pot. So it's not going to pull any moisture away from the leaf that is kind of resting on there. And then these two girls, they'll either sit like this on a saucer or they'll just sit like this. Not too worried about those. And I did not need to use any stakes for these three, but this one I think with that stake is going to keep it nice and steady so that it'll grow those roots. I will see you in the next one.